What's going on, Vape fam? This is Joe of all Vapes coming at you once again from the Vape Cave. It is a little chilly in the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to do something unprecedented with my hoodie. It's a new style. You guys can roll with it, right? Anywho, we're talking about a new e-liquid tonight, at least for me, Suit e-liquids. These guys are out of Washington, so Pacific Northwest boys and girls. They do make another line called Sideways Sauce, and I was itching to try some of that, but it's a blessing that I was actually able to get down the Suit Liquids review as it is. So 6 awesome flavors, all high VG, 80/20, so you can drip the heck out of it. Now, most of these are breakfast inclined flavors, if you will. So some of them kind of bridge the gap between dessert and breakfast. I got to roll up the sleeves to get this one down. First flavor that we're talking about is Windsor. Now, each and every one of these flavors have a little bit of a dapper gentleman on the side, just to give it a little bit of collective flair. Now, the Windsor is a cupcake flavor with a little bit of Captain Crunch kind of reminisced in the background. This one was pretty good. It was kind of the even perfect blend, like I said, between the breakfast and the dessert flavors out there. So you get a nice, deep, rich, cupcakey flavor going on, a little bit of a light frosting, working with just a creamy blend of cool milk going on right in the middle. So on the inhale, you're definitely going to get that milky, cakey flavor, sweet enough just to kind of keep you moving. Now, the Captain Crunch kind of comes across as like a little bit of a nutty flavor to it. I've never been a real big cereal loving vapor before. There were so many lost leaders in the cereal vapes when, just kind of the early days of vaping really started pushing through. The market flooded with a ton of different cereal vapes, and a lot of them stuck together. So the best thing that a good company can do is take something that already exists, put their own individual flair to it, and at least make it taste halfway decent. This stuff tastes a little bit better than halfway decent, okay? Windsor is a really good flavor. One thing I will say about most of the bottles, because they pretty much all have the same type of labeling, is you tend to get a little bit drowned out by the labeling. I mean, granted, each one of these has a different name to them, but the one thing that kind of catches me is that the flavors really don't have a whole heck of a lot of anything to do with the style and motif of the labeling. So that's really my only nitpick. I'm not going to get too far into the nitpicking before we finish the rest of the flavors, though. I'll give them a little bit of a break. Pocket Square is the next flavor, and this one is a little bit down my alley, a little bit more, I should say. It's peanut butter graham crackers and marshmallow. So peanut butter vapes are kind of a unique flavor. It's not really a dessert food, not really a breakfast food. It just kind of exists, you know. It's very nostalgic. It's very old school. But the one thing that I've noticed is that when you put peanut butter into a vape, it can sometimes come across just a little bit funky. But the peanut butter in this does come through pretty solidly. So you're going to hit it immediately on the inhale. Now, the one thing that I like about graham cracker as opposed to like the cupcake one from the Windsor, and I do like the Windsor, is that the graham cracker has just a little bit of a lighter, kind of an airier flavor to it. A little bit more nutty. Like I said, very nostalgic, somewhat of like a cookie taste to it. So it's definitely sweet enough to keep you moving. This one's kind of a play on like Elvis's favorite sandwich, the Fluffernutter, minus the bread and the toasty flavor, obviously. I think toast would have tasted crappy with this. But the marshmallow flavor was really where it was at. It really did blend all 3 flavors together. It sandwiched it, if you will, into a very nice little concoction. So midday, early in the morning, late at night, any day, man, this stuff is really, really good. It would be an all-day vape for me, were it for not for the fact that pretty much the dessert vapors are all I ever really dig into, you know what I mean? So Cufflink is the next flavor we're talking about. This one is definitely my favorite out of the 6. So we're talking a coconut and pear blend. Now, I am a coconut fiend. It's just one of those things. And I like my coconut vapes deep, nice and heavy and deep. But I didn't get it with this one. Now, is that a knock? Absolutely not. They didn't make this stuff specifically for old Joe of all Vapes. They made it for everybody. So it had a decent amount of coconut flavor to it. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 5 in intensity, I'd definitely give it like about a 3.5. So just barely over midline. Now, the pear was really good. It was sweet and light and airy. Gave it very traditional summertime, kind of a springtime flavor to it. A little bit of a pep in your step. Definitely a break apart from a lot of the heavier liquids out there. So wouldn't necessarily consider it a palate cleanser, but pear and coconut, really decent blend. They work really super well together. Pear has kind of a sweet, almost kind of an earthy flavor to it in terms of fruits are concerned. So the two of those blended together, really nice. So that one was the Cufflink. Top Hat is the next flavor, and that one was a peanut butter puffs cereal vape. So here's what I'm going to say about this one. Traditional in the peanut butter flavor once again. The cereal vapes, not really my thing, but I'm an unbiased reviewer. Like I said, they don't make this stuff specifically just for me. So the one thing that I will say about this is that the milk flavor was definitely there. It was present. The peanut butter flavor was there, once again, present, but just kind of a little bit more of just kind of an earthy, nutty flavor, sort of like the graham cracker, to bring it more into kind of that whole grain cereal flavor. The one thing I will say as far as the profile and the consistency was concerned is that it was nailed down, man. They definitely had this going on. The quality of this vape was definitely top notch. Monocle is the next flavor, and this one is, well, let me put it to you this way. Let's say you had like 5 birthday parties all at once. You basically took all the melted ice cream and all the cake remnants from everything, put it in a big bowl, mixed it up, poured it in this bottle. It's a cakey, custardy, sweet, creamy, dense, thick, rich concoction that to me I think could have been just a little bit sweeter, but maybe my tongue was a little bit dead from vaping the heck out of this stuff, because I did vape a lot of it. Now, right up my alley. The guys at Suit Liquids definitely love their desserts, so they must have known enough to hit up Joe of All Vapes, you know what I mean? You guys know I love the dessert vapes, and they must have too, because this stuff was really, really tasty. Deep and rich, a very base, solid cake flavor with just enough icing just to kind of run it through, of course. Deep flavors working on this stuff. So on the inhale, you definitely get a cakey, buttery consistency in the flavor. The exhale comes across a little bit more with just that dense, rich custard vape, and then everything else just kind of dissipates. So you really get a myriad of at least 2 or 3 or 4 different flavors between custards and cake. Ups and downs as far as the levels of the butter is concerned, as well as the sweetness factor in that one. So Cumberbund is the last flavor that we're talking about here. This one is definitely where it breaks away from all 5 of the other flavors, all right? So this one is Swedish Fish. Not even gonna lie. And if I'm breaking any copyright infringement, you know, I mean, you guys gotta know I don't have enough money to fight my own legal battles here, but Swedish Fish to a T, man. This stuff is so reminiscent. I love Swedish Fish. It's kind of a, I don't really even know what flavor it is. It's kind of like a strawberry, grape, fruity, berry-ish kind of a concoction that painted a really good picture, right? Who doesn't love a good Swedish Fish, though? You know what I mean? This really did break into a good palate cleanser for me. It was very sweet and just mouth-watering, believe it or not. It really did keep me coming back for more. I've really started digging into a lot of the candy vapes lately, and it's a nice break from the norm. I'm really glad they threw this one in here. The one thing I will say about this flavor, though, is that it is totally outside the box. When you've got a bunch of blends that are basically breakfast and dessert inspired, and you throw in something like this, like just totally out of left field, it kind of leaves you strayed, you know what I mean? And that is probably one of my last nitpicks I have for this line, if any. If I would have looked onto their website and you know, started looking down the row of flavor profiles that they have on all these guys, I definitely would not have imagined seeing a Swedish Fish flavor somewhere towards the back end, you know what I mean? But hey, you know what? Roll with it, guys. It's a really good flavor. So altogether, Suit Liquids has a solid line of some really good dessert flavors, some really good breakfast vapes. Some of them are a little bit typical for my flavor, but other ones are very good in themselves for what they are. I really highly suggest you check out Suit Liquids, guys. If anything, support a local Pacific Northwest company. If you don't live in the Pacific Northwest, live vicariously through me, guys. What can I say? But this is a smallish company. They're really trying to break out solidly within the vaping community, and I'm glad that I could be a part of helping them do that. So, Suit Liquids, thank you so much. I'm definitely looking forward to the Sideways Sauce review. Check me out on Instagram, guys. Spread the word here at Joe of All Vapes on YouTube. I've got some really solid giveaways coming pretty soon. I've got my New Year's giveaway. Hopefully, I'll be starting that around the beginning of February. And I have my vape advocacy raffle. That's getting pushed back just a little bit more to about the beginning of spring. Really want to make that boss and huge. If you've been watching me on Instagram, I'm definitely trying to keep up my game about as much as humanly possible. But stick with me, guys. We're going to have tons of fun. A lot of new stuff, a lot of great stuff coming on. Really appreciate all your support. So this is Joe of All Vapes, your eye in that vaping sky, wishing you to stay humble. Love yourselves, love each other, keep it cloudy.